Hello and welcome to Colorful Colorado today, everybody. My name is Cain, and today we are looking at a 2017 Volvo S60 Inscription. Now, of course, the standard S60 is Volvo's entry-level luxury sedan designed to compete with the Audi A3, BMW 2 Series, and the CLA from Mercedes. But the Inscription kind of takes that up a notch. This is designed more to compete with the 3 Series, the A4, the C-Class, the slightly larger, longer versions of the Germans' entry-level luxury cars. So, what is the Inscription? What does that mean? Because it's not actually a trim level for the S60. It is kind of its own entity. As I learned doing research for this review, the Inscription is actually a car designed specifically for the Chinese market because it is an extended wheelbase, meaning that there's more legroom in the back. It's designed to be a chauffeur's vehicle, I guess. But to me, I think that it actually improves upon the S60. With the longer wheelbase, I actually think that the car rides better. It's smoother on the road. And I might even say that it handles better than the standard S60. I think that it helps to reduce some of the understeer that the standard S60 gets when you're pushing it hard through the corners. Now, of course, it is a front-wheel drive car, so you're going to get some of that anyways. But it is actually a very nice car to drive, and it is definitely smoother on the highway, which I believe is what the Inscription is all about. It is about being a smooth, comfortable, quiet luxury car, and this actually does it very well. And compared to the Germans, I think that this is actually some serious value for the money. I mean, you can get into an Inscription or even just an S60 new in the 30s, and of course used, they're actually very affordable as well. Granted, the used car market is a little skewed at the moment, but normally this car is actually fairly affordable on the used market, and it is a great value for your money. You get a ton of options in this car, and of course it looks really good from the outside too. Volvos have always had an understated design, but they're very classy because of it, and of course you recognize a Volvo immediately on the road because they have kept that styling so consistent over the years. Of course, I really like the way that this car looks, especially in black. I feel like black is just kind of a universal color for Volvo that makes it look very sleek. And then, of course, this car also comes with the large 19-inch wheels, which really improve upon the looks. I don't know that I would say that they improve the ride quality. Of course, the bigger your wheel, the lower profile your tire, and therefore you have a little less give in the sidewall. But with that being said, this car still rides very nice. It's very quiet on the road and is just a nice place to be. It's a nice place to be. Now, with it being a Volvo, of course, it does have its little quirks that a lot of other cars don't have. The main one of those being the infotainment system, which once you live with it for a couple of days, and I have been driving this car for a couple of days now, you will have figured out the buttons, where everything is, how it all works. But on the surface level, it is not very intuitive. The button layout is ridiculous. There's too much going on down here. Nothing's where you really kind of expect it to be. The steering controls aren't laid out in a very intuitive design. But I gotta say, I really like the way that everything's laid out in here, aside from the excessive amount of buttons on the dashboard. I like the digital gauge cluster. It gives you your speedometer as a digital readout. Of course, your rev counter is also the same. And there's, of course, a menu that you can cycle through that gives you all sorts of different readouts. Your power, your miles per gallon, your temperature gauges, everything. And then on the right side, it shows you what gear you're in. And of course, I really appreciate that this car has the selective shifting. You can move the shifter over to the left, and you're able to use it as a kind of a paddle where you push it forward or backwards to upshift or downshift. And this is an 8-speed automatic car, of course, and it is married to a very, very smooth 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. This particular car is a front-wheel drive 4-cylinder turbo. It is the smaller motor that makes 240 horsepower and close to 260 pound-feet of torque, which I gotta say, it's a peppy little engine, and with it being an 8-speed automatic, you have plenty of gears, so that helps to kind of boost the car's responsiveness. Now, this car is also available with I guess it's the same 2-liter 4-cylinder, but it is a turbocharged and supercharged motor that makes 300 horsepower, which is a big step up, and that is available on the R design. I believe also available in this car as an option. And of course, you can also option all of these cars with 4-wheel drive as well. This again is a 2-wheel drive option, but you can option these with 4-wheel drive, and I would bet that those are even nicer to drive than this car is. And I would assume that that probably cuts down on some of the understeer that this car is plagued with. Of course, I'm in Colorado, I'm in the mountains, so I have been able to drive this car pretty hard just to push its limits, test it, see how it is to drive on a twisty road, and I am pleased to say that it is actually very, very nice. It handles extremely well, which is surprising to me. I mean, I've even driven C-classes, 3 Series, very similar cars, and of course, with those cars, they are rear-wheel drive, which is a little bit better for performance driving. But this car, I would say, could hang with them in the corners pretty darn well, which is good for Volvo. It means that they're competitive. I would say look no further. It's a very nice car. Of course, it's got a very bolstered steering wheel. The seats are nicely bolstered. They keep you in place. You do have dual climate control, heated seats, radio, nav, Bluetooth. One thing I really dislike about this car is that it has the automatic start-stop, and that is enabled every single time you get in the car, no matter how many times you press that on-off button for it. You can turn it off once you start driving, but it is automatically enabled every time you get in the car. It also has intelligent cruise control, so it will manage your distance from the car in front of you. It has parking sensors, memory seating position. Something I really like about the memory seating, not only that you have the memory seating, but it's that it remembers the position of your rear view mirrors as well. That's a big pain in the butt for me, in my opinion. On a lot of cars, they don't save the mirror position, so it's nice to see that Volvo has incorporated that in this car. Of course, the back seats, with this being the Inscription, have shades over the rear window and the side windows to give you that privacy and to keep it shaded and cool back there. You do have a sunroof, which is a very nice option, especially up here in these mountains. Put all the windows down, put the sunroof open, and go for a nice drive. It has automatic wipers, automatic high beam headlights. A really great feature is that it tells you what the speed limit is on the speedometer. That is something that I wish every single car in the world had. And an important note to make is that these cars are more affordable to live with and maintain than its German counterparts. And of course, with it being a Volvo, I feel like it is more incognito than a lot of the German cars. I mean, you buy a German car and you start to add a bunch of options to it, and it's suddenly looking very flashy and expensive, where the Volvo doesn't look like an inexpensive car, but it doesn't look like you're trying to show off. So if you're the type of person that likes to fly below the radar, Volvo's a great brand for you. And it should be said that, of course, Volvo is notoriously safe. This car exceeds in all of the crash test ratings. It is one of the safest cars on the road. And I think that goes for the Volvo brand as a whole, let's be honest. But, yeah, I guess that kind of sums up my review of it. I mean, there's not a lot to say. It's just a nice, very nice car. Very nice car. Does everything well, and I really don't have any issues with it. So I appreciate you all tuning in. If you enjoyed the review, please leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you next time. As always, take it easy.